DJ Andy here for another blogistical broadcast by the DJ Party. Okay, welcome to my channel, and this channel is about me obviously and the experiences I have in doing the gigs I do. Now a lot of you are used to seeing the gig logs that I do on the channel, and I do enjoy doing the gig logs, and I like to show people the venues where I go to and the parties that I'm doing, and obviously do a little bit of the equipment as well that I'm using. I will be doing a bit more of the equipment logs in the future. Hopefully in the next few weeks or so I should have them done. It's just that when I turn up at the parties lately, I do get interrupted quite a bit by staff and people when I'm trying to do a video, so I've actually given up trying to do them at the venues because there seems to be a lot of rush and a lot of rushing around, so I've pretty much stopped doing them. However, I want to touch on the subject of playlist today and the Seesaw Effect. Now I did the last gig log which I showed you the playlist of the highlighted ones and that, and we did do quite a bit of the playlist, to be honest. This playlist was actually condensed down from I think there's about 150 down to around about 40-50 songs, and she actually highlighted the ones she wanted playing because she'd asked her husband whose birthday party it was to compile the playlist, and he did do quite a lot to start off with. So what we did was condensed it down and then highlighted the ones that were definitely wanted playing. So that's how that playlist worked for that night, and the playlist did work and the party went really well as a result. I did drop in a few other artists from the same bands and everything of different tracks and tried to mix it up a bit. I also took requests that night, so the playlist did work in that situation. However, in other parties that I've done, I remember doing a party at the Carding Shed over in Hepworth, Home Firth. Now this place is like a retro building. It is a cafe bar, it has antique shops in it, it has lots of classic cars, there are bikes hung from the ceiling, there's the really old park-am lights that you would see in theatres hung down from the ceiling. There's all kinds of this retro antique stuff in this place, and this place was booked by somebody who had a party there. She invited 150 people to his party, and she asked each person at the party to produce one song. Okay, that's fine, don't have a problem with that. However, 120 tracks came in on a playlist, and she emailed the lot and says, do what you want with them. In other words, but I do want you to play them all. And I thought, okay, fine, it's your party, you're paying for it, let's do it. So we goes to the party and does this, and this really did not work at all. As you would expect at a party, all these people turned up, which you'd expect people to turn up at the party, but what actually happened was each person would come up to me and ask for that song that they'd requested on the playlist. This will get everybody dancing, they would say. However, the only people that danced to it was them out of the 120 people. So then this caused a ripple effect in the room, whereby because this person over here didn't like what they'd requested, they would then come over and tell me about it and how disgruntled they were, and then that would happen. Now this is what I call the seesaw effect, because what you're actually getting is somebody pushing against the other person for shall we say dominance at the party, or shall we say they want to feel that they're more important than the other person at the party. Now that is what I call the seesaw effect. So the balance of the party is going from one side of the room to the other constantly. Now there was around 150 people at this party, so you can imagine what happened with the certain tracks that they had chosen for the party. In effect, what happened was there was just individuals who had chosen a track that would never normally be played at a party, but they liked it, so they expect everybody else to like it, and so on and so on. Now what I did was I waited till they had enough to drink so they didn't care, and I started doing my own thing towards the end, and as a result most of the people ended up on the dance floor as well as most of the people ended leaving the party. So in my opinion that party just flopped as a result of the playlist, and it was not a good idea for the person who organised the party, which was her birthday party, to do that. It didn't work, it didn't fit the people at the party, it just did not work is what I'm saying, and that's what the Seesaw Effect does. Once again we did a playlist and they would not allow me to do requests or anything, so we stuck to the playlist, and in one sense it went about 60% in their favour. In another sense people were coming up to me asking for a certain type of thing. I says no, they've asked me not to play this, they've asked me not to play that, and but I actually had to explain that to them, and in this case they did actually respect that and didn't give me any grief. But they sometimes do give people grief when you go and do these parties, as most of the DJs watching this will know that. So yeah, this is basically what I'm telling you is experiences that I've had with playlists. I would say that most of the time that I get a playlist I do only allow around about 30-40 tracks, and I say I will try to do my best to play. If the playlist is pretty much what I play anyway, it would probably all get played. If it doesn't, then it doesn't get played, or it'll only get played if they request it, but I will say that they have requested it on the microphone. So it does sometimes work, it doesn't always work, it does sometimes just flop, like I said, like I've just mentioned. Now there was another party that I did in Leeds. This was at the Leeds United Football Club, and I think I did actually, this is one of my first gig logs, it's from 2013. I didn't actually stand in front of the camera and doing any introductions, I just did a load of footage, which was basically crap anyway. The footage, it wasn't very good camera, it was basically a webcam that I was using at the time. Now this party again, it was about 200 people at it. It was at the Gary Speed Suite in the Leeds United. I remember having to take all my gear through the reception into a lift, and then had to cart it a very long way to the function room. It pretty much took an hour and a half to get everything in and set up, and then obviously get it all back out again. This gig, the similar sort of thing with the Seesaw Effect, but this time it was groups of people around tables, and they all sort of mingled into age groups around the tables of family and friends, of people who they knew. And this is what basically happened. I had a group of people over here sat on this table wanting more modern chart music, so they was getting, like, I think if I remember correctly, it was Gangnam Style that they wanted. And then over here, one person from that table came across and started having a go at me because he didn't like the modern music and he wanted to hear Northern Soul. I thought, fine, fair enough, if that's what you want, you know, that's fair enough, and we will get that on for you, but why have a go at me? Why give me grief? I don't know, they just feel like they're more important than other people. There's a bit of a psychological thing that goes on in somebody's mind that you're not doing your job. But I explained to him, I says, these people over here have requested that, so I'm playing it, they're responding, so what's your problem? And he would say, well, I want this. So this is what goes on in the room then. You get two people arguing over who's picking the best music, and that is where I first originated the Seesaw Effect, because it's doing that constantly all night. So to combat that, what I generally do at these parties, I will play basically 3 tracks from each era or each genre when I'm doing the gigs. So they will get 3 tracks, and then I'll go into another 3, and then I'll go into another 3, and then go into another 3. And what basically happens is the dance floor starts rotating like that. Then in some cases I find something that they'll all dance to, and they'll all dance to it. And you know, I generally find that system does work, but it doesn't always work. So I hope you enjoyed this blogcast today, and I hope you'll give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to keep on subscribing, and if you want, just share the video out on your Facebook page. I don't mind that, you know, anybody's welcome to share these videos with anybody. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you again in another gig log.